Om Jnana Timanasya Jnana Shnakaya Sakshamritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Vacharini Nirvishesha Sinyavadi Paskachai Desatarni. Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss Canto 10, Chapter 25.
Recording in progress.
Verses 20 till 33. And we heard in the last session how Indra became very angry and sent his son Vartaka clouds to destroy Vrindavan, and great hailstorms and thunder flashes, lightnings, devastating rain was coming down. And all the Vrajavasis appealed to Krishna, please, save the cows, save the cows, save the cows. When you save the cows, save also us. So then Krishna lifted Govardhana with his left hand, and now we hear what's going to happen further. Narayanam namaskrityam naram cheva narottanam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jyamudhyayat nastvayasya bhadrasu nityam bharata sevya bharvati uttamasake bhakti bharati naisake. Ataha bhagavan kopan hembatata vachakasa yato payo samvishate kirigachtam sakodanaha. Now, translation. Someone can read the translation?
The Lord then addressed the cowherd community. O mother, O father, O residents of Raja, if you wish, you may now come under this hill with your cows.
Yeah, you can also read the purport.
Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur provides the following insight in this regard. Ordinarily, a large cowherd community, which included many thousands of cows, calves, bulls, and so on, could not fit under the base of a medium-sized hill like Sri Govardhan. However, because the hill was in ecstasy, being touched by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it acquired inconceivable power and even felt the hundreds of deadly thunderbolts thrown upon its back by angry Indra to be offerings of soft, fragrant flowers. At times, Sri Govardhan was not even aware the thunderbolts were striking. From the Harivansa, the Acharya also quoted Sri Krishna himself as saying, Trailokyamapi utsahate rakshitum kim punar rajam. Sri Govardhan can give shelter to all three worlds, what to speak of the simple land of Raja. When Indra's attack began and Krishna lifted the hill, the deer, wild hogs, and other animals and birds standing on the hill's flanks climbed up to its peaks, and even they did not experience the slightest distress.
So this is an example that a devotee can have great distress overcomes him, but still he's feeling happiness. That Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, comfortably you can all take shelter under Govardhana. But how could all the inhabitants fit under Govardhana, which is only 3 miles across? Here's the answer. On being touched by Krishna's hand, Govardhana became filled with bliss and attained inconceivable strength, so that when Indra hurled hundreds of thunderbolts on his back, they felt like the touch of flower garlands, and he expanded his form to 32 miles, so that all the inhabitants, cows and buffaloes and other animals could live comfortably beneath his shelter. So from 3 miles to 32 miles. Interesting. Krishna says in Harivamsa, in lifting up Govardhana, I made such a large area that all the 3 worlds can be protected there. What to speak of Vraj? The animals on top of Govardhana, such as the deer and the wild pigs and birds, did not find any difficulty from rain when Krishna lifted the hill, because according to Harivamsa, when Krishna lifted Govardhana, he lifted it as high as the clouds. Seeing that the clouds could pour rain only on the lower portions of Govardhana, the animals ascended to the top of the mountain above the clouds. It is quite amazing that here we have a comment of Shiva Goswami. He called to his mother first out of affection, or he called her first to appease her, because she was overcome with worry and sorrow, fearing for her son, thinking that Indra produced showers in anger because of her son when he then called to his father with affection. If his father entered, she would follow. He also called Rohini and others. As you desire Upayosam, just as you lived in Vraj, you can live here. Harivamsa describes that the area under the mountain measured 2 krosas, but how could all Vraj enter the hole? It became huge by the power of the inconceivable energy, by the power of his inconceivable energy. Krishna says in Harivamsa, raising Govardhana, I have created this huge area. In this area I want to fit the 3 worlds, what to speak of Vraj. The hole or cavity refers to the place remaining when you lifted up the hill. The purpose of this area was to give protection from the wind and rain for the cows, which were their wealth. Or, enter with cows and other wealth. The people then accepted his words. They became happy on hearing his words. Someone can read 21.
You should have no fear that his mountain will fall from my hand. And don't be afraid of the wind and rain, for your deliverance from these afflictions has already been arranged.
So Krishna is speaking to the Vrajavasis. This is from Kavikarna Pura, Ananda Vrindavan Champum. When I lifted the hill, huge chunks of earth fell on the bottom and formed a naturally boundary wall around Giriraj, around the perimeter of Giriraj. In other words, Krishna lifted the hill, and slabs of mud and earth fell at the side and formed a dike, so that the overflooding of water could not enter the space underneath Govardhana. That's so perfectly arranged. So this wall would keep out the torrential rains. So forget about your attachment for your former residence. May this place become a source of joyful pastimes for the Gopas and the Gopis. That Shiva Goswami's comment says, "Do not have fear that I will make the mountain fall from my hand." That you should not fear that Indra, or you should not fear that Indra will make it fall. Worrying about my steadiness, you should not do any actions. Anyway, there's this grammatical explanations. Text 22. That someone can read 22 and the one line purport.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
Their mind, thus pacified by Lord Krishna, they all entered beneath the hill, where they found ample room for themselves and all their cows, wagons, servants, and priests, and for all other members of the community as well. Purport. All the domestic animals of Vrindavan were brought beneath the Govardhana hill for shelter. Hare Krishna.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, they proceeded to go beneath the mountain along with their carts, their servants, their priests. That Shiva Goswami, by speaking skillfully in this way and by lifting the mountain effortlessly with his left hand, with their mind comforted and peaceful because of Krishna, who performs unlimited astonishing pastimes by attracting everyone's hearts, they entered the cavity beneath the mountain along with their cows and other forms of wealth. Sanatana Goswami writes, by speaking skillfully in this way and by lifting the mountain effortlessly with his left hand, with their mind comforted and peaceful because of Krishna, who performs unlimited astonishing pastimes by attracting everyone's heart, they entered the cavity beneath the mountain, along with their cows and other forms of wealth. Okay. Harivamsa. He held the mountain up to the clouds with his left hand. It became like a dwelling, with the form of a splendid house. Everyone lived there comfortably with their furniture and other items, just as Krishna held up the whole mountain, using one finger of one hand on one portion of the mountain. So by his Shakti, no rain could enter under the mountain. The Lord revealed his nature as Bhagavan as previously by lifting the mountain easily, like an umbrella, as a small child, even though he had all powers. Can someone read the translation and purport of text 23?
Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst, and putting aside all consideration of personal pleasure, stood there holding up the hill for 7 days, as the people in Vraja gazed upon him. Purport. According to Vishnu Purana, Vrajaikavash Bir Harsha, Vimuktisai Nirikshita, Gopa Gopai Janair Hishtai, Preeti Vishparhite Shana, Samstuyamana Charita, Krishna Sailam Adapchahar. Lord Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Vraja, all of whom now had opportunity to dwell together with him, and who glanced at him with joyful and amazed eyes. Thus the cowherd men and women were all elated, and out of loving affection they opened their eyes wide. By continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and sweetness of Sri Krishna, the residents of Vrindavana felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. And Lord Krishna, by seeing their beautiful forms, also forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura points out that 7 days of continuous rain from the Samvartaka clouds failed to flood the district of Mathura because the Supreme Lord, simply by his potency, immediately dried up the water as he fell onto the ground. Thus, Krishna lifting the Govardhana hill is full of fascinating details and has through the thousands of years remained one of the most famous pastimes.
Yes, by the mercy of our acharyas, we hear all these amazing details, and that although Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary is already included in this purport, we will read this commentary directly. So the inhabitants forgot about hunger thirst for 7 days because they were immersed in bliss on seeing Krishna continuously. Also Maharaj Pariksit, when he heard the Bhagavatam during 7 days, he was not plagued by hunger or thirst. So it is said here, this is explained in Vishnu Purana. Krishna, watched by the inhabitants of Vraj, with eyes wide with affection, held the mountain steadily. It should be understood that Krishna stood facing everyone. At this time the inhabitants' hunger and thirst disappeared on seeing the youthful beauty of Krishna, and Krishna's hunger and thirst disappeared on seeing the beauty of his beloved gopis. It should be understood that Mathura Mandal did not become inundated in water, because his Icha Sakti dried up the water immediately. 6 Katikas make up 1 day. 7 days passed as if it were 1 Katika for the inhabitants of Vraj. Vishnu Purana. Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Vraj, all of whom now had the opportunity to dwell together with him and who glanced at him joyful and amazed eyes, with joyful and amazed eyes, with eyes opened wide of affection. I will read here from the Garga Samhita. When Krishna asked them, Balaram and the boys of his age steadied the hill with their sticks. Seeing a great flood of water coming in, then Krishna ordered Lord Shesha and Sudarshan to come. Brilliant as millions of suns, Sudarshan hovered above the top of the hill to dry up streams of water just as they fell on the ground. Agastya Muni drank up the ocean. Surrounding the hill, Sesha stopped the upcoming flood as a shoreline stops the water of the ocean. So Sudarshan was above, Sesha was down. So for 7 days, Krishna steadily held the Govardhana hill as if they have, for 7 days, Krishna steadily held Govardhana hill. Now, Nectar of Devotion talks about what happened to Mother Yasoda. Nectar of Devotion. Sometimes there were examples of Mother Yasoda's becoming stunned in ecstasy. This was exhibited when she saw her son lifting Govardhana. When Krishna was standing, raising the hill, Mother Yasoda hesitated to embrace him and became stunned. The dangerous position that Krishna had accepted by lifting the hill brought tears to her eyes. With her eyes filled with tears, she could not see Krishna anymore, and because her throat was choked up by anxiety, she could not even instruct Krishna as to what he should do in that position. This is a symptom of becoming stunned in ecstatic love. And then in Nectar, of Devotion chapter 46. One of the friends of Mother Yasoda said, "Yasoda, just see the fun. On the one hand, there is your child who is always captivated by sucking the milk from your breast, and on the other side, there is the great Govardhana hill, which can obstruct the passing of the clouds. But still, just see that how wonderful it is that this great Govardhana hill is resting on the finger of your child's left hand, just as though it were a toy. Is this not mysterious?" That this statement is another example of astonishment in devotional service by direct perception. So now we will read from Nectar of Devotion. Moment, I will get it on the screen. I start the database here. It's coming just in a moment. Yeah. Okay. We will come to that. A moment. Nectar of. Share. So, we will go to Nectar of Devotion. Chapter 41. Chapter 41. Then is the 9th or 10th paragraph. Dear friend, you have been standing for the last 7 days. That is what we are searching. Trying to find it. It's about fraternal devotion. It's the right one, yeah. It's paragraph 9 or 10, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
It's the 9th,
7,
I think.
8. Yeah, it's here. So when Krishna was holding up Govardhana hill with his left hand, the Vayasyas said, "Dear friend, you have been standing for the last 7 days and nights without any rest. This is very troublesome for us, because we see that you have undertaken a severely laborious task. We think, therefore, that you need not continue to stand in that way holding the hill. You can just transfer it into Sudam's hand. We are very much aggrieved to see you in this position. If you think that Sudam is not able to support Govardhana, then at least you should change hands. Instead of supporting it with your left hand, please transfer it to your right hand so that we can give your left hand a massage. This is an instance of intimacy showing much the Vaisyas considered themselves to be equal to Krishna. So these are Vaisyas' friends who consider them on the equal level as Krishna. Now, in Nectar of Devotion 22, in shyness, there is also a mention to discover the Lila. So we go to 22. Okay. And there we have to go to shyness. Liberal shy. As described in the Lalita Madhav, Krishna's shyness was manifested when he lifted Govardhan hill by the little finger of his left hand. All of the gopis were observing Krishna's wonderful achievement, and Krishna was also smiling at seeing the gopis. When Krishna's glance went over the breast of the gopis, his hand began to shake. Upon seeing his hand shake, all the coward men underneath the hill became a little disturbed. Then there was a tumultuous roaring sound, and then all began to pray for Krishna's safety. At this time Lord Balaram was smiling, thinking that these coward men had been frightened by the shaking of Govardhan hill. But seeing Balaram's smile, Krishna thought that Balaram had understood his mind in observing the breast of the gopis, and he immediately became bashful. A lot of things are going on under that hill. So everyone is experiencing his own rasa with Krishna. The gopis are exchanging glances. Kavikarna Puri in Ananda Vrindavan Shampoo, he gives a nice description I will bring it on the screen, and because that is a very ecstatic part. I'll bring it on the screen. Ananda Vrindavan Shampoo. Just a moment. Okay. Okay, I bring it now on the screen. Oh. So we share. Here it is. We have to go further. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm seeking the section. By holding up Govardhan, where Krishna Okay. It's here. While holding up Govardhan Hill, Krishna was surrounded by all his loving associates. Taking advantage of the intimate setting, they gazed at Krishna with joyful faces, prayed for his victory, or affectionately smelled his head. Being saturated with parental affection, Mother Rohini firmly embraced her son Balaram, who always gives immense pleasure to his parents. Both the submissive gopis and the contrary ones, like Radhika, smiled blissfully while looking at Krishna with love-laden glances. The gopis always play with Krishna and enjoy love sports in the forest of Vrindavan. While gazing upon him, they looked like thirsty shakori birds, continually drinking the ambrosial radiance of his moon-like face. With unblinking eyes, they took Krishna within their hearts and lovingly embraced him. During the festival of lifting Govardhan Hill, everyone tasted the great ecstasy. To lighten the heart of his beloved friend, Batu said, his Batu is Madhumangal, "O dearmost friend of the world, please listen to my words. By my Brahman Tejas, my spiritual potency, I will fill you with happiness. When I am here as your friend, why are you troubling yourself by lifting Giraj? O lotus-eyed one, just order me, and I will hold up this great mountain on the tip of my golden stick. You must be exhausted from holding this hill, so now relax and take some rest while I hold the hill." For Yasoda this addressed her son, and that's very ecstatic. It says, "Oh my darling child, you always act impudently due to your uncontrolled senses, due to the force of your uncontrolled senses." So he says, "Krishna, for years we have peacefully observed the Indrajahya, but then you abruptly stopped it. Disregarding the demigods never brings auspiciousness. How can one find fortune if he shows enmity toward the demons or the demigods? In the presence of these two fears, how can we enjoy living here?" Although Krishna's body is inexhaustible and ever blissful, Yasoda thought that he had overworked himself. Considering that she expressed her motherly affection by reaching up to lovingly touch his lotus hand that held the hill. While doing this, he said, "Aho! How can your hand, which is as pure and soft as fresh butter, bear the heavy weight of this mountain without any other help or support? O Giraj, please be compassionate and give me a boon. If you are actually some worshipable god, then do something to become soft and lightweight so that Krishna will not feel any distress. O honorable one, all my son's actions are in accordance with the instructions of Shastra and saintly persons." Batu said, "Mother, do not speak like this. How can you say that Krishna is in distress? Listen. What good has that angry Indra done for us? He brutally stacked us with his dense dark clouds and fierce lightning bolts. Now just appreciate the dazzling sweetness that Krishna has manifested in his pastime of lifting Govardhan. Has Indra not become angry? Then we would not have the chance to relish this nectar through our eyes." Mother Yasoda replied to Batu, "O bold one, Holding a heavy load over the head can never be a show of sweetness. Lifting the enormous weight of Giriraj will cause one to become distressed and disabled. Just see the locks of curly hair on Krishna's forehead are wet from perspiration. His face has dried out and become pale like a lotus wilted by the snow. His hands and feet have a ruddy color. How can a mother's heart, O Shiva, tolerate seeing such hardship? Krishna said, Mother, there cannot be anything more fun than this. Why are you worried about me for nothing? Just see, the great mountain is floating on its own in the open sky. I told you before that this body of mine is but an instrument of his will. Yasoda replied, My dear son, that may be true, but how can you not be tired after standing here for so long and holding that mountain with your raised arm? O intelligent one, I will believe that what you said if Govardhana gives us the joyful association of your lotus hand and then flies around the sky, playing on his own. Batu said, O Queen of Vrindavan, don't you know that this great mountain is sitting on the lotus hand of Krishna by the strength of my mantras and special powers? Therefore, my friend is not feeling any pain from holding Giriraj. That is natural, because everyone is favorably disposed toward the Lord of their hearts. Mother Yasoda said, O impudent one, what kind of nonsense are you speaking? I am burning in anxiety over my son. His tendency is to act independently without caring for any good instruction. And now you come here making jokes and laugh about it? Nanda Maharaj interjected. Why are you scolding Batu? In this world, a person who is expert in diplomacy will use very affectionate words to encourage one in such a trying situation. So, understanding the need of the time, Batu spoke appropriately. Besides that, our son very much appreciates the words of Batu. So yes, this is moment. Yeah, it still continues. That meanwhile, the rest of the Vrajavasis stood around Giridhari, admiring the sweetness of his gorgeous transcendental form. Due to their affection for Krishna, the sinless Vrajavasis transgressed ordinary etiquette and talked loudly among themselves about his extraordinary beauty. When Vrajavasi said, up to this time we had never really appreciated how Krishna's elegant body is the very ornament of the entire earth. Look, as Krishna displays his attractive threefold bending form, his left side stretches up broad and straight without showing three lines on his belly. His right heel is raised and his left foot appeared to be kissing the earth. His well-shaped left knee is slightly contracted and his waist is gently curved. His garland and uttariya, tinshatar, are swinging to the left side. It is very pleasant to see his arms beat as he effortlessly holds his strong arm aloft. His right thumb is tucked into the refulgent red cloth wrapped around his handsome hips, which are enriched with the three beautiful lines of his belly. Just see how the beauty of Krishna's right side decorates the earth. In a merry mood, Krishna glances lovingly as his eyes roam here and there. The pollen from the dew-covered blue lotuses tucked over his ears reflects exquisitely on shining cheeks, even though he must be tired from lifting Govardhana. Krishna is delighting our minds with the nectar of his gentle smile. That today's beautiful face is more dazzling than anything else. So it's a very beautiful description here. So many pastimes are going on under this, under this hill, the Govardhana hill. Good. We go back to text 24 now. Go back. Should be preview. Yeah. No. So we have 24 on the screen. Can someone read the translation of 24?
When Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intentions thwarted, he ordered his clouds to desist.
So Indra is getting the message. Krishna is God, not me. But I'm going back now to Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion up in chapter 29. 29 expressions of love. Momentum. And there you have doubt. Here. When the king of heaven, Indra, was causing torrents of rain to fall on the land of Braj, he was advised to surrender himself at the lotus feet of Krishna. At that time, Indra's face became very dark because of doubt. So yes, we are going back to Ananda Vrindavan shampoo.
Maharaj, who would have advised Indra here? He was advised to surrender to Lord Krishna.
Yeah, we will hear more about that. Just
Okay.
share. No, that is not this one. Come to back to Ananda Vrindavan shampoo, but it's not there. I will have to bring it here again on the screen. Ananda Vrindavan shampoo. Okay. I will get it. Moment. I will show it to you. Share. Yeah. And then I found it before. It was, you have to go to 162, yeah, and then by the mercy of Krishna at the top, 162. Yeah, I find it. I found it. By the mercy of Krishna, the danger finally ended. In the distance, the Vrajavasis saw the gateways and rooftop rooms of their houses glittering attractively from being washed by the heavy rains. A fresh clear sky appeared to fill all directions with auspiciousness. The people of Vrindavan felt they had just emerged from a deep dark well of calamity and come to the light of good fortune. The earth planet thought it was again sitting on the tusk of Adivara. The plants and creepers sprouted anew. So the plants and creepers sprouted anew and unfurled fresh leaves, just as one cured of the disease of insanity attains peace and no longer suffers from epileptic fits. Similarly, the wind, now freed from the disease of devastation, blew gentle. The rivers, the wives of the ocean, again flowed slowly and respectfully toward their husbands. Just as the forceful pushings of the mind subside as one advances on the path of God realization, similarly the blasting clouds dissipated to leave a clear sky behind. Good. That go back. Yeah. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is pride deflated. Indra withdrew the clouds out of fear that Krishna would punish him. That, yes. Text 25. Can someone read translation 25?
Seeing that the fierce wind and rain had now ceased, the sky had become clear of rain clouds, and the sun had risen. Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, spoke to the cowherd community as follows.
Yeah, so seeing the sun becoming visible, Shiva Goswami said, seeing the fierce winds and rains stopped, he informed the people of this. He looked horizontally and noticed, since that he was holding the mountain with his hand. With a burst of enthusiasm, Sukadeva had a vision of Krishna lifting Govardhan, and thus described him as Govardhandara. Sanatana Goswami, hearing that the sun becoming visible and that the fierce wind and rains had stopped, he spoke to the people because he personally did not investigate, being attached to the happiness of holding up the mountain others saw and told him. Or he looked horizontally and noticed this. Still holding up the mountain, he spoke. Even at this time, it was no effort to do this. Parikshit was worried that Krishna would be exhausted. Sukadeva now pacifies him with this description. So that is good. We can stop here for 10 minutes and continue around
Recording stopped.
6 p.m. 6:05. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So
Recording in progress.
we will continue reading. So I will repeat the previous verse. Seeing that fierce wind and rain now ceased, the sky had become clear of rain clouds, and the sun had risen, Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan, spoke to the cowherd community as follows. The following is from Garga Samhita. When Krishna orders the Gopas to take their wealth and cows and then slowly emerged from under the hill, then Krishna said to his friends, "Go out." Then they said, "You go first. We will hold the hill with our strength." Then Krishna shifted happily some of the weight on the top of the Gopa boys, and they fell devastated on the ground. With one hand, Krishna picked them all up. Then Krishna playfully set the hill down where it was before. Now text 26 till 28. Can someone read 26?
Lord Krishna said, "My dear cohort men, please go out with your wives, children, and possessions. Give up your fear. The wind and the rain have stopped, and the river's high waters have subsided."
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Shiva Goswami, O coward, who have protected the cows from the rain, that the rivers have decreased their waters is not astonishing, since the heat of Krishna's power has made the showering waters shrink. Without him doing that, the clouds of universal destruction would have inundated everything. Dana refers to the cows and to their other wealth. Sanatana Goswami, O cowards who have protected the cows from the rain, go out with the women, wealth, O cows, and the children. The rivers swollen by rain have subsided, Vyuda Praha. This means that water had left the land. So, can someone read 27 now?
After collecting their respective cows and loading their paraphernalia into their wagons, the cowherd men went out. The women, children, and elderly persons gradually followed them. Hare Krishna.
Shiva Goswami, after he had lifted the mountain and then spoken, the cowards were defeated Indra by accepting Krishna and had resorted to Krishna alone, left the cavity. Gathering the cows along with wealth and carts, the cowards, women, children, and elders slowly left, since if they quickly left all at once, they would be crushed. Text 28.
While all living creatures looked on, the Supreme Personality of Godhead put down the hill in its original place, just as it had stood before.
Yes.
Thank
Shiva Goswami, the Lord, however, remained, and then put the hill after the people left. He put it down in the same place as previously, without deviating from the former placement. The mountain was the same as before, without any change, since he was endowed with great powers. He did this with great ease, which was attractive to all. Now text 29. Summary 29 and the purport.
All
the
the
residents of heaven were overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and they came forward and greeted Sri Krishna according to their individual relationships with him. Some embracing him, others bowing down to him, and so forth. The cowherd women presented water mixed with yogurt and unbroken barley corns as a token of honor, and they sought auspicious benedictions upon him. purport.
Yeah.
Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that each of the residents of Vrindavan regarded Krishna in his own way as an inferior, younger member of the community, as an equal, or as a superior, and they dealt with him accordingly. Krishna's superiors offered auspicious benedictions, lovingly smelled his head, kissed him, rubbed his arms and fingers, and inquired with parental affection as to whether he was tired or pained. Krishna's equals laughed or joked with him, and those who were younger fell at his feet, massaged his feet, and so on. The word cha in this verse indicates that the wives of the Brahmanas joined with the cowherd ladies to offer auspicious items like yogurt and unbroken grains. Lord Krishna, Lord Krishna received benedictions such as this. May you subdue the wicked, protect the decent people, give pleasure to your parents, and be enriched with all wealth and opulence.
So Krishna received benedictions. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Filled with love, they approached Krishna, and according to age suitably showed affection. Yata Yoga. The elders blessed him by smelling his head, kissing him, massaging his left arm, which held up the mountain, cracking the fingers of his left hand, praying scream, and I don't know what that is, asking if he was not tired or in pain. That the cowherd women and the wives of the Brahmins respected him by throwing rice and yogurt and gave blessings such as, may you conquer the evil-minded, protect the righteous, give bliss to your father and mother. May you be blessed with wealth and power. Yeah. Then we can go to the next text 30. Kan zomaar read text 30.
Mother Yashoda, Mother Rohini, Nanda Maharaj and Balrama, the greatest of the strong, all embraced Krishna, overwhelmed with affection. They offered him their blessings. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so the elders offer blessings. Dus Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. This verse describes more details of the interaction with his mother and other. It is not unsuitable to include Balaram in the group of persons with parental rasa, because he acts in that capacity as elder brother. But if this affectionate brother also holds up the earth in his expansion as Sesha, why did he not show his own powers when his younger brother held up Govardhana and helped him? The answer is that when Krishna made his decision to lift Govardhana, to stop the worship of Indra and begin worship of Govardhana, and to protect the inhabitants of Vraj, it would be improper and impossible for his Amsa Balaram to do anything else. Thus Balaram did not show his powers. As Krishna is a Shaktiman, holder of all powers, by his desire alone suitable powers will make their appearance in his Hamsa. In succeeding verses also, this conclusion is mentioned. In that area, sometimes the ancient depiction is seen of Yasoda and Rohini offering butter to Krishna to eat, while Krishna's father and brother hold Govardhana on their heads. This is out of excitement due to their affection, Sneha Katara. According to the Vaishnava Torshini, thus in this verse they are described as being excited and confused by their affection. Now text 31.
In the heavens,
O king, all the demigods, including the Siddhas, Sadhyas, Gandharvas, and Charanas, sang the praises of Lord Krishna and showered down flowers in great satisfaction. Hare Krishna.
So the demigods in heaven were as jubilant as the residents of Vrindavan, and thus a great festival took place. So also the devatas were overjoyed. Not only the people of Vraj became joyful, but also the residents of heaven. That this is described in 2 verses, Jiva Goswami said. Since Indra suffered broken pride, why did they act in this way? They were satisfied and joyful by seeing the sweet pastimes of Krishna and the destruction of Indra's pride, which made him commit a criminal act. Or Sukadev calls out to Parikshit in astonishment, since the devatas rejoiced even though their king had suffered. Just as one probably ignores the governor in deference to the king. So the devatas properly ignored Indra in deference of the Supreme Lord. O Parikshit, this is known to you. It should be understood that Indra was not angry by having his pride destroyed. So Indra is cured. More about that you will hear next chapter. Next to read text 32.
My dear Parikshit, the demigods in heaven resoundingly played their conches and kettle drums, and the best of the Gandharvas, led by Tamburu, began to sing. Hare Krishna.
So the Jiva Goswami, the instruments were played skillfully and amazingly by the devatas. All the instruments were played by the musicians, inspired by the dancing and singing. Divi is mentioned twice to indicate that the devatas in heaven were not afraid of Indra by acting in this way. Sukadev calls to Parikshit out of bliss, or to indicate that the king also celebrates in this way. Text 33. Someone can read the translation in the purple.
Hare Krishna. Surrounded by his loving cowherd boyfriends and Lord Balarama, Krishna then went off to the place where he had been tending his cows. The cowherd girls returned to their homes, singing joyfully about the lifting of Govardhana hill and other glorious deeds performed by Lord Krishna, who had so deeply touched their hearts. Purport. Before returning to their homes, the gopis shared intimate association with their lover, Shri Krishna, by exchanging secret glances. Ordinarily, they could not publicly talk about Krishna, since they were chaste young girls in a religious village. But now they took advantage of this wonderful exhibition by the Lord and freely sang of his beautiful qualities. It is natural that a young man wants to do something wonderful in the presence of a beautiful young girl. The gopis were the most beautiful and pure-hearted young girls, and Shri Krishna performed the most wonderful activities in their presence. Thus he entered deep within their tender hearts, enlivening their eternal devotion to him. Thus ends the purports of the humble servants of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the 10th canto, 25th chapter.
Ja, we have here Vishwanath Chakravarti. While Krishna was lifting up Govardhana, Radha and other gopis were glancing at him from far off, unnoticed by others. When they were returning to their houses, they were singing with love. It should be understood that they had the ability to make songs about his activities at that moment. Riddhis Priya Gopya can mean the gopis who touched Krishna in their hearts filled with prema, or who always meditated on Krishna. Or it can mean gopis whom Krishna touched to his chest or in his mind, that is, who were very dear to Krishna. In other words, it describes Krishna's quality. So, Jiva Goswami. Out of great joy and if singing, Sukadev describes their entrance into Vraj. He was surrounded completely by the cowards, since they were attracted to him. He who lifted Govardhana to protect Vraj came to his house. Instead of Sagostam, sometimes Vagostam is seen. That he entered his own house, that of Nanda, within the village Gostam. Village. Out of bliss everyone went to his house. He's called Hari because he took away the suffering of Vraj caused by Indra's pride, and because he was most attractive in performing this pastime. All the gopis became joyful. They were skillfully composed. They were able to skillfully compose songs at that moment. And the gopis, they had their own language that which only they could understand. So this is Sanatana Goswami. Krishna's entrance into the village while the gopis sang is described. He was surrounded by the cowards because they by nature had great affection for him. Cowherds includes others, everyone living in Vraj, for he was the life of Vraj. It was described that the servant and priest also had entered the hall. O King Rajan, Sukadev calls for the attention of Parikshit, who was bewildered by great joy. O Krishna's son, shown surrounded by the others affectionately. Syndicates, he who held up Govardhana to protect Vraj, and he whose face was seen by the gopis for 7 days continuously. Or he who is the Lord of your life, for Parikshit. So the gopis could see Krishna's face directly for 7 days. Otherwise, they were only allowed to glance from the corner of their eyes to him. So he was with Balaram, holding hands or exchanging affection. Those of fear of the rain, everyone had come close to Krishna, who was in the center in order to hold up Govardhana. Now with them he went back to Vraj. One version as Sagostam, Svagostam, and another as Svagostam. Giving up all the residences out of Govardhana, Krishna entered his residence at Nanda's place. He was surrounded by the cowards. They came with him in great joy. He had taken away Indra's pride and the suffering of the people, Harihi, and attracted everyone with pastimes. He gave more happiness to the gopis. They were overjoyed by singing about the activities of Krishna, who attracts everyone's heart, Riddhi Sprisha, after seeing his sweet pastimes. Or they were overjoyed by the nature of singing, or they were overjoyed by singing about activities which were indescribable. Tata Vidani. Kirtani is in the plural, though it refers to one event, the lifting of Govardhana. By that we come to the end of this chapter. So the anartha of this pastime with Indra, the overcoming the pride of Indra. That also this pastime eradicates our mistake that it is good to perform demigod worship, and also the fault that I'm the supreme, I'm worshipable, is eradicated. Now we have Nectar of Devotion, chapter 18. Let's see. It's not yet there. Just a moment. Yeah, now it's coming. Go back. So here we go to Nectar of Devotion. Chapter 18. Character of one in ecstatic love. And there we have it is determined. That the same of perseverance. Then last paragraph. It seems not the right chapter. Was determined. Yeah, here it is. It is in another. There it's at the end. The promise of Krishna that his devotees are never vanquished had also previously been admitted by Indra when he was defeated in Govardhan Lila. When Krishna stopped the villagers of Raj Vrindavan from worshipping Indra, Indra became angry and therefore inundated Vrindavan with continuous rain. Krishna, however, protected all of the citizens and animals of Vrindavan by lifting Govardhana. By lifting Govardhana hill, which served as an umbrella. After the incident was over, Indra surrendered to Krishna with many prayers, in which he admitted, by your lifting of Govardhana and protecting the citizens of Vrindavan, you have kept your promise that your devotees are never to be vanquished. There's another lesson to be learned from this pastime. So we are coming at the end of the lifting of the Govardhana hill, just in time, because in a few days we have Govardhana Puja, the 22nd, we are the 17th, still in 5 days. Are there any comments, questions? What did we learn from this chapter? What did you find most interesting, or are there, because you heard this pastime many times, are there things in this pastime from this acharya, from the commentaries of our acharyas, which you did not hear before? I'm interested to hear that. So please share.
First time what I heard Maharaj, first time I'm hearing is that when he lifted that hill, the top of the hill, the tip of the hill, it went above the clouds, and all the animals and all these living entities, they went above that so that they will not get disturbed at all. from
Yeah.
the rain or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Ananda Vrindavan shampoo. That yes, that you said further in Ananda Vrindavan shampoo. We did not read everything, but it said when Indra was, when the clouds were showering rain on the hill, there was no rain, like some little mist, but everything was all right. That it's interesting.
Even when he's trying to come from his home to Govardhan for lifting it, that time that all the rains were that is all sheltered.
Yeah.
Let's say he not felt any rain or wind or something like that.
Yeah, it was even not wet.
Maharaj, it was the first time I heard that Govardhan inconceivably expanded to accommodate all of the cows and the Rajvasis and things. Maybe I just didn't hear that before, but I never even thought of that. That within that 3 mile radius would not be possible to contain all of the residents and cows and so forth.
From 3 to 32 miles is quite an expansion. It's amazing. And although when you see Govardhan, you walk around it, it's not so small that still it takes 6 hours. Good walking to get around it. Of course, a big part is under the ground now. That Govardhan things. But Govardhan is special. Yes.
Matt, I heard in previous classes that also during those 7 days under the Golden Hill, there was, all kinds of opulent arrangements for Rajvasis and things like that, and really, very, very kind of wonderful environment, atmosphere was created. I don't know if there are any references to that, but...
Yeah, decorated with jewels and so on. If you read the entire chapter of Ananda Vrindavan shampoo, you will hear more about that. You can also read the past, Harivamsa, that there you will hear more of these details. But yes, I heard that also, yes. That something else, that the lessons, yes.
I've also read that the dike that was formed also was wrapped with by Lord Ananta, and he drank all the excess water because it was not just rain, it was cloudburst, which means that columns of water was just falling from the clouds.
Yeah.
It was just not just, and then it was just, but it was impossible to not have everywhere inundated. But Lord Ananta was absorbing all the water. And the other thing I've also heard is the animals were trying to attack the thunder and the lightning, and so on and so forth. It was quite. There's a lot of other interesting things you hear. Now I have one small question, Maharaj. It's often we hear about Nanda Maharaj's palace or Nanda Maharaj's home, and especially when we read the pastimes of Krishna being tied up, we hear about the gate, we hear about the courtyard, and we hear about the doors and the storeroom and so on and so forth. But other things we also read is that the Brajbasis were also kind of a nomadic community, because they would go to different places and stay. So sometimes I'm not sure how to reconcile this, or is it a question of both, that Nanda Maharaj had his palace and had his place to stay, especially when we read in the 14th chapter, in the 14th or 13th chapter, when after the day the trees were brought down and Prabhavati, Upananda decided that they're going to leave, and it was like they just left. They just left like that. It was not any. It was just like they were a nomadic tribe or
Yeah.
a nomadic community. They just packed everything up. So how do we? I mean, is it both?
Yeah, you can read that in Ananda Vrindavan Champon, that when they were in Gokul, yeah, Nanda Maharaj, Upananda, and the others came together and said, all these demons and Krishna is in danger. We cannot stay here. We must go to a safer place. Let us go to Vrindavan and Govardhana. There is sufficient grass for the cows there. And Upananda said, yes, he took the decision, we will leave. And it's described how they put everything on carts, and they are traveling with these carts. And then on the carts are all the women and the children, and Krishna is on the... And then they have to cross the Yamuna. So Krishna is on the boat with Mother Yasoda on the Yamuna, and Krishna is playing, trying to catch the fish in the water. It's nearly falling out, and Mother Yasoda, oh, that's all in Vrindavan Shampoo, and then all the cows are going to the water, and and then they are camping. They are making a big circle, and the cows are in the middle, and all the carts, and then all the cowmen, they are around with their weapons, making sure so that is how they travel. It's described there.
Yes.
But yes, but when they were in Vrindavan, of course, in Nandagram, we have the palace of Nanda Maharaj, because they came from Gokul. In Gokul, he had also a palace, and the ruins are still there. We have been there and seen them.
Yes.
So, but it does not mean, yeah, he has his palace. It is like a central hub, and then they go out there. They have 900 cows. So with 900 cows, you cannot stay in one place. They are going in different directions, different cowherd mans, and they have to travel also in Braj and staying overnight sometimes with the cows. That appears also from these pastimes. Nomadic, yes, but it seems they have their hub where they are all together. Yeah. But they traveled, yeah. They traveled also. Because many of the cowherd boys, they were skilled in fighting and protecting with weapons. That was a whole organization that appears from many pastimes. Also, when Arjuna was bringing some of the queens from Dwarka to Vrindavan, he was attacked by cowherd men with weapons, and they defeated Arjuna at that time. That's also an instance, yeah. So yes, difficult to say, but they were certainly also nomadic to a certain point. Yeah. Good. Any other comments?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, I'm
Can I ask a small question? Maybe it was already described somewhere. I'm sorry, maybe a little bit silly. So we heard that all the people of Raja, they went down to the hill. It was like a square under the hill. So Krishna lifting the hill, he probably stayed on some kind of a podium, or because otherwise if he would stay on the same level as all other coward people, then he was actually not very tall. So probably he had some place which were a little bit higher than the common level.
That I'm not sure of that. It looks he was more or less in the middle under the hill. That because it's also difficult to visualize is lifting up the hill from the side, but then it's going under it. That's interesting. So it was not at the side because that's probably in the middle somewhere. I don't know. A platform, I didn't hear about that there was a platform on which he stood. But it was like Govardhan was hovering above his pinky. That for Krishna, the laws of nature, it doesn't, is above. So for him, Govardhan was like a mushroom. It said, lifting a little child lifting a mushroom. But it's a little mystical because practically all the Vrajavasis, and there are many, they could see him. That by Krishna's mystic power that was possible. How he did it, it's like in the rasa dance. Every gopi was thinking Krishna is dancing with me personally. To Arjuna he gave a divine vision that he could see the entire universe. So nothing is impossible for him, but how he did it, I don't know. But he did it. Everyone could see him. A good point.
Thank you. The painters, I've seen some art, some painting. They usually draw the earth platform, a kind of a small hill on which Krishna is standing among all the others and lifting the hill.
Yeah. Then I'm just wondering, some of these pictures Prabhupada approved. So we can see at these approved pictures. They are of course in Bhagavatam and in the Krishna book. But coming back to the lessons we can learn, that first, be never proud of whatever result you have, of what you so-called do, and the result is good. Never think it's by my mercy. That is false ego. That we are only the instrument, that whatever we do is done by material nature with the permission of Krishna in this world. That is just. So a devotee, he wants to become an instrument of Krishna. And he's not attached to the result. That if we become attached to the result, we are not an instrument anymore. And then this pride is there, this attachment. And Krishna does not like that in the heart of his devotees. He will purify us. Will give us a lesson like to Indra. And we will hear in the next chapter, he will learn his lesson, but later he will forget again. When Krishna and Satyabhama would go to the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama said to Krishna, "Oh, you gave to Rukmini such a nice parijata flower. Can you also give me such a flower?" And Krishna said, "We are in the heavenly planets, so why just a flower? I will give you an entire tree." And Krishna wanted to take the tree, and Indra said, "It's my tree." And they started to fight. He was started to fight because he forgot Krishna's position again. So that's the heavenly planets. Illusion is very thick there. That is, and again, he forgot that. So we should learn that lesson. Also, another thing of this pastime, the second lesson to be learned is no need to worship demigods. We respect demigods. Don't worship them. That Krishna discouraged that. Krishna forbids in Bhagavad Gita. And here also, the Vrajavasi wants them to stop to worship the demigods. And then there is a lesson to be learned. Name bhaktya prayashati. My devotee will never perish. Ananya sintyantam yechna parapaste tesham nityabhyuktam yoga shema pamyam. Krishna says, I protect whatever my devotee has, and I will give him all what he needs. And Krishna protected all the Vrajavasis. And another lesson we can learn is all these Vrajavasis had this ecstatic relationship with Krishna in a certain rasa. And we can also have that relationship if we become purified and surrendered. That's a great ecstasy in our lives. These are 4 lessons to be learned. There are undoubtedly many more lessons we can learn. That of course, Indra also learned that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. That not an ordinary person. That of course, from this pastime we can also learn that Krishna's omnipotence. My spiritual master Bhakti Charamaj, someone asked him, can Krishna make Govardhana so heavy that he cannot lift it? And Bhakti Charamaj replied, yes, he can. He can do that. Still he will lift Govardhana. So that is his omnipotence. That. Any other comments? Good. Yes.
Can it be also a lesson? I don't know that the servants of a master should also think about his orders, like these clouds and winds who obeyed Indra. They could have thought that probably it's wrong to destroy Vrindavan.
Yeah, I would say that we should test everything with Krishna's instructions. This Samvartika clouds, we are meant for the end of the universe. then we can do our service and give rain for 100 years and everything is devastated. But Indra asked them, you have to do it now. So they didn't want to do that. But they knew Indra is our boss. So they did it, but not fully, not with their heart. They did it being afraid of being punished by Indra, by his thunderbolt. But anyway, it's a good point you say. If there are many controllers in this world, but we should test the instructions of these lower controllers with the instructions of Krishna. And if they are not in agreement, we should not do them. That's maybe a big challenge for many of us in this world. Because if you work for a boss, they may ask you to do sinful activities, to transport beer or something or whatever. Not easy. That's a good point, yes, that we can learn from the clouds, some vertical clouds. Good. Good, thank you very much. I was very happy to be with you. I think I did my section. We went a little quicker than thought, so you have a few more days to prepare for the next session or for the test. Thank you very much. Please forgive any mistakes that I make, and looking forward to serve you again in the future. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you very much. It's a wonderful association, and you shared a lot of hidden nectar secrets with us. You found them, those nuggets for us, and then shared them, gave them away to us. So thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Thank